Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the final episode of this season, the divisional reaction to the Texans falling at Kansas City 23-14. My name is Curtis. I'm the host of the channel. With me, as always, my resident co-hosts, Mike, a.k.a. Magic Mike, a.k.a. Microphone, a.k.a. We're done. We're done. You can we're done. You can find Mike at Maz3 Productions across all the social medias. He's got a channel on YouTube. Would like to see help grow. So like, subscribe, notification bells over there. Try to help his channel out. Down here at the bottom, our third member of the team, Chris, aka Pac-Man Freestyle, aka Slim Chickens, the host of That's Crazy Podcast and Talk. Like, subscribe, notification bell. You can find that across all the social medias. Do the buttons. Click the buttons. While you're clicking buttons, do the same thing here. Trying to grow the channel. We're currently at 250. And when it comes to subscribers, and like to see that number keep climbing. So, gentlemen, what the fuck, man? What in the shit were the refs thinking? Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that the entire loss was on the referees. I'm not going to do that because it's just not what it was.
But
we shat the bed in different areas. Special teams, offensive line was terrible. A lot of different things did not help us. I will also say the refs definitely helped the Chiefs, like 100% of the time. Usually in games like this, there are calls that kind of go like, okay, that was a bad call, but then the other team gets a bad call and it kind of like comes out in the wash. No, not this game. It was like, let's stack bad calls.
theirs, that one's theirs.
Yeah, it was rough. The Will Anderson Jr. roughing the passer was ridiculous. Was it Henry T and who else? Where they like two people were trying to hit Mahomes and he kind of like slid underneath him.
Henry T and Will, I think.
Okay.
I think it was Will again.
And they didn't even like touch him.
They hit each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So
could have gave each other a concussion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very common for our defense, but a lot of that game was as expected. The referees, we knew that was going to be a problem coming into it. We knew this was going to be a lot more defensive than it was offensive, and those things held true. What we didn't expect, 8 sacks from the offensive line allowed. What we didn't expect, Kaimi Fairbairn to have a field goal blocked, to miss a field goal, and an extra point. We didn't expect the special teams to allow a 60-plus yard return on the opening kickoff. We didn't anticipate no turnovers. We tried. We tried to get some turnovers. There were lots of opportunities. Hell, on the opening kickoff, we knocked the ball out. Dude was up. We knocked the ball out. Kansas City recovers. They end up holding on for 3 points. The defense was the star of the game. There were definitely moments where the star of the game, the defense, messed up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce being basically the entire owner of all of that blame. I think Taylor Swift has put some sort of black magic on him, and now he's slippery. And at 34 years old, 35 years old, is
he's doing the old man tight end thing.
Man, and I saw so many broken tackles too. He almost got a touchdown on that first real big pass play he got for like 45 yards.
If he wasn't slow as shit, he'd have had a touchdown.
Yeah. He's definitely lost a step or two over the last couple years, but good God. Aziz did not cover him well. When we asked Murray to do it, it wasn't going well. It was just a poor showing on covering Travis Kelce. I will say that not much of anybody else really did anything. We only allowed 220-ish yards to the Chiefs. I think it's less than 220 to our 300 and something, 330. I mean, realistically, we had a phenomenal performance for what the expectations were. Nobody was expecting us to actually be in that game as late as it was. We scored that touchdown after having a 10.5-minute drive to open up the third quarter.
That was amazing. I love
Dude,
that.
the best drive we've had all year, and it's not even close. And then Fairbairn misses the extra point, and then the wheels fell off.
And let me ask you, Curtis. Are the Texans going to be in the market for a new kicker next year?
I'm kind of thinking so. And that's
because he's one of the better kickers in the NFL. I know that. Like,
it's when it matters, though.
No, but this is the first year he's looked like this.
Yeah. Well, last year, if you recall, he didn't do so hot the last week against the Colts. He missed like his first field goal of the season against the Colts. And then in the Ravens game, missed a field goal or two and an extra point. It's just clutch time games at the end of the season that Fairbairn is nowhere to be found. Landry Locker put it best. I was watching his recap of the game. Fairbairn didn't even look like he wanted to be there. He was just
looked like
his ass off.
Yeah, he looked like a guy from Hawaii in a frozen tundra.
Yeah.
I actually feel bad for him.
He's a tour of kickers. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to be funny. That might have been his first time ever in weather like that of his entire life.
I mean, I think the Ravens game last year was pretty cold,
but it wasn't that cold. It was not. It wasn't that cold. But I thought everybody else was pretty good. If you want to be honest, as far as the cold goes, because that was another issue I was worried about with our team. I know CJ played at Ohio State. I don't be trying to hear that shit when we're a dome team and you've been playing in a dome for however long. You're playing in a dome with great turf, so that's just how I feel about it. Your body adapts.
But CJ played one of his best games of the year.
Yeah,
and I agree. I agree with that completely. And on a bum knee and shit, there was times that motherfucker didn't look bum. He started running. I'm sure he's hurting right now, man.
That's the good thing about cold weather.
You don't feel
once you start moving, you don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that was like my thing about it. I felt like they did pretty well as far as dealing with the cold, because that was my worries was, were they going to be able to deal with the cold? Now, they couldn't hold Travis Kelce for shit, but that's fine, whatever. Apparently nobody can. He's always wide open. Like you know how Jamar Chase is like, I'm 7'11". No, Travis Kelce is. I don't care.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be like you were saying earlier. Some of that's on Aziz, and some of that's on Miles Bryant. But the thing is, Miles Bryant was so not supposed to be that guy in that situation.
No,
we've lost three. It's supposed to be Petrie or even Jimmy Ward, or one more person, even possibly Kamari. Kamari was originally, if we're keeping it real, he was drafted to be an inside cornerback.
Yeah,
he was drafted to be a nickel.
Yep, because they believe that Okudah could hold it down on the outside. And then we went to camp and realized that wasn't happening.
and now I want to put this out here now. The conversation about Kamari playing anything other than outside linebacker needs to be deaded. Kill it.
You mean outside corner?
Outside corner. Yeah, I'm sorry. Outside corner.
I'm going to say
anything other than outside corner. We don't even need to experiment with him in the slot anymore. You got two very good corners. Let's not talk about moving him inside to fix another hole.
Yeah,
especially if people will be back. And
look, let's get into risers and fallers, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let's start with the negatives. We'll finish on the positives. Fallers, we kind of already touched on this, and I'll lump these two together. Fairbairn and the special teams. Just piss poor performance. You let a field goal get blocked, and that basically sealed the game. You miss a field goal, the extra point, the returns, there was just not much that you could really hang your hat on and say that, oh, that was a good special teams outing. There wasn't much. Hell, on that kickoff return, we tackle him, and then we what do you like a personal foul or some shit? The extra 15 yards because Chris Boyd threw his helmet.
Yep, caused the fumble. Threw his helmet further than the ball went on the fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
15 yards. Just a lot of boneheaded and slippery plays that really fucking cost us in the long run.
Now, let me ask you, are you blaming Frank Ross for that, or are you blaming the guys on the field
No,
for that?
I'm blaming
that's the guys on the field.
Yeah. Frank Ross is still goated. I don't care what anybody on Third and Teal says. We still have the best special teams coach.
And he and I'm sure he was angry because the thing about it is one thing we know is the Chiefs can block punts. I'm not punts. They can block field goals. Regardless if maybe they're coming early or whatever. Be fucking prepared. And that's my whole thing, which is why I don't want to harp on the flags and stuff like that. Be prepared for it. Have a counter attack for that shit. You're expecting it, so do not let that shit kill your drive. Do not let that shit kill you because this is what you're already expecting. It's like let me see. Like let's say you can't. We're just gonna and I know he's stoppable now, but we're just gonna say you can't stop Patrick Mahomes. And I don't mean flags or anything. Let's just say Patrick Mahomes is Superman. There's no way you can stop. Lamar Jackson's a good example because for some reason we can't stop him. Y'all know you can't stop him. Figure something else out to counter attack that. Find out what you're good at and do that. Something that they can't stop. Because the thing about it is the ref thing is always going to be there, and I don't want to go into the offseason thinking that's what killed our season. Because is it a part of it? Of course, I'm not. That's stupid. Those calls were egregious. They were disturbing. Everything about them. But at the same time, CJ was sacked 8 times. Special teams was bad.
To be completely honest on it, I got to give Kansas City their props on the field goal because they were running a silent count and he still was timing it. We can say maybe he was early, maybe he wasn't, but it was so goddamn close that I wouldn't even have been able to throw a flag.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling Curtis. You talking about the Justin Reed one, the first one?
It was
but it was so close. That
motherfucker was close, like insider trading. Justin Reed still remembered what the snap count was when he used to play for us or something. He had that shit timed down to a T. But even with that being said, Kaimi, you kicked the line drive. The guy that did block the kick,
crazy.
He didn't jump.
And the thing about
it stretched his arm.
Wasn't even the one that blocked it. It was somebody else.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't jump. That's on Kaimi.
That right there was crazy to me. And it's on Kaimi. It's like the blockers up front. Y'all got to keep these dudes back. I know it's hard. Do your best.
Yep. The next faller I have is the NFL / the referees.
No argument there.
Yeah. And we've already harped on it enough. I think we can kind of move on from there. Bobby Slowick and the offensive line coach. Now, before we started, Mike was telling me that Strausser has announced his retirement from the NFL. Thank you. I cannot express from the deepest depths of my heart how glad I am to see you not in this building anymore. Not because you're a bad person, shitty person. You're just not what we needed.
This ain't the job for you.
I'm gonna tell you a bad person because you want to know why you're a bad person. You're too friendly to these offensive linemen. That's what the problem is. You're too fucking friendly. Stop being fucking friendly. That has to be the problem. You're in there trying to be their friends. Laramie. You know what I'm saying?
No. Or it could be that they're just not that fucking good.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this year, who are our 2 best linemen?
Titus and Laramie, and they still are 2 best linemen.
At the end of this year, who are our 2 best linemen?
Titus and Laramie.
It doesn't even matter what position Titus is at. If he's at left guard, he's still our 2nd best offensive lineman.
Yeah, and Titus is not a person I want to get rid of. I'm not even worried about the money that he makes at this point in time. It's the others.
What I
You
question
say
if,
that until you realize he's making $23 million this season.
he's making $23 million to play left guard. That's the only thing that upsets me, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not his fault. He has to play left guard.
That's correct.
I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him. But now let me ask you a question. Did you see enough from Blake Fisher that you definitely say he's our right tackle of the future?
No.
If I'm being completely honest, and I watched all these games, what we all did, I watched every snap. Titus Howard is still a better right tackle than him.
Yeah. Yes. I do think Blake Fisher has room to grow.
That's why I'm not mad about the money, because you can have Titus basically play anywhere. It's basically, I understand he's not as good as Laramie, but fuck, if Laramie's out, you can fuck around and put him at left guard, left tackle. I mean,
he played left tackle. He did it well.
So like, I'm not gonna and which is why the money it might be a little too much. Yes, I do agree. It's a little too much. But at the same time, when he was available, that's another thing. Think about this about Titus. Did he miss a game this year? I don't think he missed not one game.
I think him and Laramie are the only two that didn't miss a game.
Yeah.
And they both played hurt. They both did play hurt.
Exactly. You know, I saw there was some things about Titus that, you know, maybe a couple of penalties here, but I don't even care about that.
The rip through fumble. I'm not gonna let him live that shit down. I don't give a fuck. He can become a Hall of Famer, and I'm still gonna remember that.
Yeah, that was a little crazy there. But as far as that goes, I'm not like it's just I'm not completely now. I will say Blake Fisher did not play that position all season. He came over there because he had no choice. And
Blake Fisher, he's a natural right tackle. He's playing his position.
Yeah.
He's always been a right tackle. No, he's a rookie.
I think Blake Fisher's got room to grow
and dominate in every positions like that.
Not everybody can be Joe Alt.
Yeah. And let's remember, when Titus Howard was a rookie, he was not playing well. So Blake Fisher coming in and kind of being thrust into the lineup late in the season and getting some good, valuable reps down the stretch, it's going to be invaluable coming into next season.
Who has the issue with him being our third tackle next year?
Literally, if anybody does, they're ridiculous.
Second tackle, okay, we might let's think about that, because that means somebody's gone, and who is it?
Yeah.
As much as I hate Laramie's fuck ups, it better not be him.
Yeah. Do you think they move Titus back out to right guard or right tackle permanently, or do you think they try to keep him at left guard?
No, being that at best he's an average left guard, and he's an above average, borderline good right tackle. I wouldn't keep him at left guard.
That's fair, but let me ask you this: like, assuming I think we assume as Texans fans that the offensive line has got to be one of the biggest things to upgrade in this offseason.
Right now, it better be the only thing they worry about upgrading. I know we need other things, but
the question is what if it's not a personnel thing? What if these guys actually are good linemen, but they had bad coaching?
It's definitely possible. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not, but there's also definitely some personnel issues. Shaq Mason is not playing up to the money.
He's shit. He's shit. I wasn't talking about him. He doesn't even count.
Yeah.
If it's up to me, he's cut tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to give him an opportunity.
I don't want Shaq. Like you say, they might not be good. I don't think Juice is good. I'm being honest with you. I do not think that he's good.
No,
I'm not mad at Blake Fisher.
I think Juice is a backup. He's a backup offensive lineman in the NFL.
I can go with that. And that's like my whole thing. I don't think Juice is good. Blake Fisher, like I say, I agree completely with the Blake Fisher, because no, I didn't see much, but I also agree that he was just thrown into the lineup because he had no choice but to be thrown into the lineup in the middle of the season, because left guard was so bad for pass plays because Kenyon Green could not pass block to save his life. Right. And like that's just all it is. And apparently Kendrick Green must be injury prone or something because they couldn't keep him there.
So let me ask you guys this before you go. So you asked about our top 2 linemen, but assuming the linemen that were trotted out against the Kansas City Chiefs are our best 5, who are the top 3?
Patterson. Patterson is the third.
What do you think, Chris?
Patterson didn't play though, did he?
Yeah, he was the starting center.
I thought Juice started.
No, sir. It was Patterson.
I didn't watch the game because I thought
Juice didn't play.
Oh, he didn't play? See, I thought Juice was supposed to be starting. Did he start for the Chargers game?
No, Juice started at right guard for the Chargers game.
Yeah.
I will say this. It's going to sound that it might. I don't even think Kenyon Green's our worst offensive lineman. I actually think it might be Shaq Mason. We started our worst offensive lineman in our most important game.
Yeah,
I'm not counting Austin Decklis and what's his name? The other guys. I'm not counting them. I'm talking about guys that we actually expected to play this year. I think Shaq Mason might be worse than both of them. And that's Juice and Kenyon Green. There's part of me that doesn't even want to give up on Kenyon Green yet because I'm stuck with him any goddamn way.
And plus, he's a phenomenal run blocker. Like, that's my thing. Bro, like, it's so crazy.
What if a new offensive line coach could fix him?
Yeah, and I think it's fixable. That's my thing about it. I feel like and that's how I feel. Like, even if, that's why I just wanted them just to try it one time just to see. But he got bombed on so bad, and he was so bad at left guard. They didn't want to try him at right guard.
Well, the thing about it is, one of the worst things about Shaq Mason, what he has bad about him, he can't fix. Shaq Mason is barely 6'1". He's small.
Yeah.
He's small. He can't fix that. Kendrick Green, who's considered a small offensive lineman, is 2 inches taller than him and about 30 pounds heavier. Shaq Mason was not supposed to be an NFL player as long as he has been. At some point, the juice runs out. You know how you had that small defensive lineman, that Aaron Donald guy who's smaller? He's just quicker and stronger than everybody for quite a few years. Then after a while, everybody else starts to catch up. And Aaron Donald did. I think that's part of the reason he retired. He's like, I can retire on top and not look back. It's the conversation that Kelsey's having in his head. I'm slow as shit now. I can't really get open unless I'm open.
Yeah.
You start to contemplate retirement. Shaq Mason is having that as a 31, 32-year-old offensive lineman in the NFL. Former Pro Bowler. If I'm not mistaken, former All-Pro too. And he's trash.
Yeah. Yep. So I asked the top 3 question because to me, I think our top 3 best linemen, and the reason that Blake Fisher kept getting put out on the field after they moved Titus, is because he's our 3rd best lineman.
You know, you might be right. If you put it that, I could find an argument for Patterson or Blake Fisher. I could find an argument for either one of them being the 3rd.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I feel like if you keep Titus at left guard and you keep Blake Fisher at right tackle, you can draft another one, bring in another one at either one of those spots. I don't care. But we definitely need a right guard, and Patterson and Juice are definitely not the answer at center long term. I mean, Patterson's about to be 26 years old.
He's an old young guy.
Yeah. So I think that, there's a field where Trey Smith, Kansas City Chiefs right guard, is available. and in free agency because they're already talking about they're not going to be able to bring him back because of how much money he's wanting. That fills that right guard spot pretty quickly, and then we can draft a center.
But can we
Yeah,
pay?
but, how are we going to pay him?
Well, we have about $10 million in cap space. We could make even more, and the cap space is supposed to increase. Last year was $30 million increase. I don't know that we can expect that again, but
20-something, maybe.
if we could get 20-something, we could afford it.
And then the other thing that I'm thinking in my head is, one, we're talking about getting rid of Shaq Mason. That frees up money.
Mhm.
Is Jimmy Ward going to free himself up?
Yeah, that's another thing. If he retires, that'd free up.
Comes there. And like I said, Titus restructure. Don't take any of his money from him, the man. But there's a way to put some of that money into a signing bonus.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to.
Go ahead.
And we're going to have to pay Stingley. You're going to. I don't. If you wait, you are a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's shown you everything you need to see. Give him the money.
And don't let Sauce beat him to the table. If Sauce beats him to the table, you're gonna fucking pay for it.
A lot.
And I at this point believe Stingley is better than Sauce.
Yeah. Shaq Mason was the final faller on the list. Gentlemen, let's talk about the positives. Let's talk about the wide receiver room. Obviously, we came into this game with Nico as the obvious far and away number one, and then a bunch of dudes. One dude stood the fuck up and made some plays, and that being Xavier Hutchinson. Hutch played a really damn good game. Able to make some crucial catches for us on second and third downs to extend drives as CJ's running around the backfield fucking fighting for his life. I think he even had some killer blocks if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
I think he was the one setting the edge on the outside on that Mixon touchdown run.
If I remember at the beginning of this year, we were talking about who was going to replace the guy that we cut. What was his name?
Noah Brown.
Yeah, we were asking who was going to replace Noah Brown. Was it going to be Mechie or was it going to be Hutchinson? At this point, who do you think?
I still don't. I'm TBD on both of those, honestly.
That feels the point of why we need one. I think part of the reason Hutchinson isn't as consistent is he wasn't getting the playing time.
Yeah,
he wasn't getting it.
Yeah, you're not
wrong. You won't be honest. I feel like they're trying to force Mechie more upon us than they are trying to do Hutchinson. Because I'm not gonna take away anything Mechie's done. I like John Mechie, but I don't think that we should continue with him. I would rather keep Hutch because Hutch actually tries to come. I saw multiple times this year, albeit not too many times, but multiple times where Hutch was that person to come back and help CJ like Nico does. Also, Hutch is because neither one of them get separation. I'll take the bigger guy.
Yep.
And Mechie, I'm not trying to be funny, but Mechie's Nelson Aguilar again. That's all I see with him. It's a guy that had all the potential in the world, but
except for
average.
I feel like a lot of his potential was sapped out of him. That makes sense. Because I wish we would have gotten the John Mechie that was, fresh.
I was excited when we drafted him, and then I was really scared for him, and he just hasn't been the same. And I don't
can't really hold that against him.
And I'm not, but he's had the time, and it has nothing to do with the fumble from last week. I don't care about none of that.
We're here because we want to win a Super Bowl. We got to take our feelings out of it. We got to take our feelings out of it at some point. I'm glad about the story of him being able to come back and play meaningful football for a football team. But right now, he was supposed to be our second best receiver. Do you know how terrifying that is?
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's shift to the focus of the wide receiver room. Our best wide receiver, Nico Collins, having himself a day tasked with the unenviable task of having Trent McDuffie shadow him all game, who played his damn ass off. Trey McDuffie had a game, but
Yes,
so did Nico. Nico was efficient. He was the big target we needed. Honestly, it sounds ridiculous considering the entirety of the season that we just watched. But that offense kind of felt more like what it was supposed to than at any point in the regular season.
Yep. Said
Both
it before.
playoff games.
Yeah.
Both playoff games.
I don't know what the hell that was. Why the quick passing game just didn't exist prior to the Chargers game, but
And I said that might
God.
be part of the reason why Bobby keeps his job.
Yeah,
It's because I hope it isn't, but what he promised ownership and what he promised D'Amico finally fucking showed up these last two games.
Yeah. Now,
And CJ is saying he wants him back.
he just wants continuity, and I think we can achieve that with a different coach.
Yeah.
But I will say this: can you imagine, just in your mind's eye, can you imagine what this game would have looked like if Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs and Jalen Petrie and Jimmy Ward are all playing?
Oh yeah, you want to know how I think that game would have looked like? Would have been playing them next week because we wouldn't have been playing the game today.
What?
I'm saying we would have been playing them next week because we wouldn't have been playing that game today. We'd be playing them in Arrowhead next week.
We'd have been a higher seed.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, probably so. We would have had that.
And we're not even going to say if they were playing that game. Let's say if we were more healthier all year, if we didn't have Nico out for those games. Now, don't get me wrong. There were games that, regardless of Nico was out or not, we should have won those games. But I'm just saying, just in general.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I feel like we would have been a higher seed. I feel like there's a lot of differences. We're beating Tennessee, beating the brakes off of Tennessee. Stephon Diggs, oh my God, I want Stephon Diggs. Well, and think about it. We also didn't have Brevin Jordan.
They struggled to keep Mitch and Hutch on lock. They struggled to do that. Now imagine if there was Stephon Diggs and Tank.
Yeah.
Tank was shredding them the last time he played.
Yeah. So I think
Shred his bones.
I think that there's been enough proof in the pudding to go ahead and move on from Bobby Slowick. But I also think that there's not been enough proof in the pudding to move on from Stephon Diggs. I know that he's a free agent. He's probably going to be asking for some monies. But
there ain't nobody go give him. He's coming off a torn ACL. He might as well stay.
Yeah,
it's not even that. If he's looking around the NFL and everybody's going to be like, "Hey, bro, you're hurt. I got this prove it deal here for you to sign. Let us be the best prove it deal."
Yeah.
If there's a team wanting to give him $8 or $9 million for 1 year just because they want him to prove that he's healthy, hey, Houston,
give him
10.
10.
Give him. No, what? Give him that 8 or 9, but let's give him 4.5 of it as a signing bonus. Let's give him half the money up front.
Yeah. Let's flip it to the other side of the ball. The defensive player of the game, in my opinion, Will Anderson Jr.
No fucking question.
Dude played out of his mind the entire game. From the first sack and the fucking roughing the passer that shouldn't have been roughing the passer. Man, all over the field, making big plays.
Man, my thing about Will Anderson last year, like I know he got Defensive Rookie of the Year. He started off a little slow. He hadn't slowed down since. I would slow, and he hadn't slowed down since. He has just been getting better, and better.
But what I tell you this, it sounds crazy, but if the Will Anderson that played against the Chargers and against the Chiefs would have been the Will Anderson we got all year, he'd have 16, 17 sacks.
Yeah.
And shit, he damn near was. He had 11 and a half?
Yeah. He had 11 and Daniil had 12.
I mean, on top of missing what he missed 3 or 4 games.
Shit, 5. He missed a bunch.
So like, and that's what I'm saying. He'd have had that if he'd have just played all the games.
Yeah, or at least close.
Yeah.
But Will Anderson Jr. fucking lights out. Hats off to Caserio. That draft pick and the trade up looks better.
It looks so awesome now. Every
week. Another trade. Joe Mixon. You know, I anticipated that the Chiefs would be able to stop the running game and kind of force us to be one-dimensional. We had 150 rushing yards at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we finished with, but 150 rushing yards against one of the top 5 rushing defenses. I don't understand how this offensive line can do the things that it does in the running game and then turn around and not be able to fucking pass block at all. But that's a problem. But Joe Mixon, he's doing Joe Mixon things.
Even Damian Pierce looked good behind that line.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell is going on. But Joe Mixon, 18 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. I believe like an 11-yard touchdown run was the only touchdown that the Texans scored on the day. Hats off to Joe Mixon. That was a 7th-round draft pick that we sent to the Bengals for Joe Mixon.
And it's conditional at that. It wasn't even a guarantee.
Yeah. So, again, Caserio making fucking moves, man. Making moves. The final riser, and I think it's fitting that this is the final riser, CJ Stroud. After a season that looked like he was losing his touch, losing his ability to differentiate between ghosts and real people, he was under pressure almost constantly during the Chiefs game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I saw him lose his cool. I know he took the ball down and ran with it several times when nothing was open. His eyes were always downfield trying to make a play. The pressure didn't get to his head as much as it had in the past. Now, maybe towards the end of the game where he's trying to make a lot of magic happen, you kind of started to see those things happen a little bit more.
Shit, they were blitzing the brakes off of him, so yeah.
Yeah. But, my God, like, we're out here with one tight end, essentially, and one wide receiver, and CJ Stroud's running around trying to find one of those two guys. The game plan wasn't going to be that hard for the Chiefs on defense. So, I mean, like,
put 2 people on Nico and just make sure you're near Dalton.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're near him.
Stroud was efficient, though. I believe he was 19 of 28, 244 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The 8 sacks is really not on him. It's him hoping that someone's going to get fucking open.
I can't stand the way Dalton Schultz blocks. I cannot stand that,
bro.
Like piss poor blocking.
You haven't been paying attention enough. He's never been a good blocker. It's not really a surprise.
That's what I'm saying. I hate it. That's why I hate it in general.
That was Cade Stover's job. We don't know how much that hurt us not to have Cade out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so mad that he wasn't going to be there.
Yep.
But I will say this. CJ gave me hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because the same thing we've been saying about CJ for the longest, when the lights are the brightest, he's at his best. And that's been proven pretty much all year long, except for that Baltimore game. But more and more, I really think that they gave that shit away on purpose. Because it's hard to score 2 goddamn points.
Yeah. Beyond that, you know, being the first team to outgain an opponent by 100 yards, have no turnovers, and lose the game. The prior 49 occasions where that stat line has existed were all wins. We are 49 and now 1 in that scenario. They were busting out all sorts of statistics for this game. The Texans apparently have never won a game at freezing or below freezing temperatures in the history of the franchise.
Sounds about right.
I think
I'm
we're
gonna
like
be honest with you. That bubble we have next to the stadium, we need to put that bubble on freeze.
yeah.
We need to do that. Need to turn that shit into an ice box.
Yeah. Have fucking Mr. Freeze pull up.
And just leave Kaimi in there by himself.
Yeah, if he sticks around, we definitely need to make sure that he's good with the cold. But yeah, look, there's a lot of things about this game that we could go on and on about, but you know, the season's over. So, gentlemen, let me ask you this question, and then we'll kind of get into our season wrap up here. We're looking down the barrel of the combine and the Senior Bowl and all that other shit. What's one big move you'd like to see happen? Just one.
Go ahead, Mike.
Bringing in a competent offensive coordinator. If you're gonna keep Slowick in here, as much I hate to say it, the other thing that might need to happen is we might have to let our quarterback coach go, or we hire what they call an offensive consultant, some other coach that's working with Slowick to fix his inefficiencies.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, I told you before, I think his playbook is probably fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But his timing on calling it, I know that comes from experience, but god damn it, we don't have time for him to continue to gain experience.
Yeah. It's true. Chris?
Especially with the defense looking the way it is. My big move is the first thing we need to draft whatever the best offensive guard that we have available, guard or center that is available coming up in the draft. I will cry if it's anything else. I will cry. I don't care. Like, I know we can trade for one, but if you can, everybody's not going to be looking for offensive linemen, so we should still get a top offensive lineman.
Bro, the way that pass rushing is coming in now, I think there's a lot of teams going to be looking at offensive linemen going forward.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, there's a few top end tackle talents. So if we wanted to keep Titus at guard, we could, but I don't think they're going to be there by the time we pick.
And then what do you do with Blake if you do that?
Well, yeah. Well, that's assuming that you want Blake to be your swing tackle. That's assuming. Which, wouldn't be a bad position to be in all reality. But, after that top end tackle talent, all the rest of the tackles are basically being told that they're actually guards.
Mm-hmm.
Arms aren't long enough to play tackle, stuff like that. So we can find interior offensive linemen in every round of this draft. Don't be surprised if we go some crazy, maybe we draft a wide receiver in the first round or something. Mm-hmm. And then second round offensive lineman, third round offensive lineman. I wouldn't be upset if that happens. But my big move is Trey Smith. If we can get Trey Smith's big ass to play right guard for us,
problem solved.
The problem is solved. You can put we're back at right guard, and then you can draft a left guard and a center. Bam.
I would actually, if we were able to do that, I would even be okay with Justin Patterson or Juice Scruggs trying again at center.
Oh no, Patterson. I do not want Juice at center.
No, the thing about it is when you talk to offensive linemen, they say how important the guy next to them is.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a right-handed center, his right guard is the most important thing in the world to him. We have not had good right guard play.
Yeah.
We have not had it all. I can at least say Titus, a couple of plays, Titus looked pretty goddamn good at left guard.
Yeah.
Even during this game, he kept Chris Jones pretty the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris Jones's biggest impact was against Blake Fisher and Shaq.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he literally ran. He literally ran right by Blake Fisher. I swear, and sacked CJ.
Yeah,
rookie. But that's my point. The centers we have may not be that bad, but we know that the right guard that they expected to be their veteran on that offensive line. They expected him to be the guy that's like, hey guys, let's settle down, let's get this all together. They expected it to be him because everybody knows that's not Larry. Laramie's your high-paid mercenary. He's going to be good at what his job is. My job is to pass block. My guy won't touch the quarterback.
Yeah.
But you need me to be a leader? Oh, you didn't pay me enough for that one. That's not in your package. And that's what we expected from Shaq Mason, and he just didn't give it all year long. And if you pay attention, that your veteran offensive lineman doesn't have to be your best offensive lineman.
Yeah, it's true.
He just has to be the guy that says something. And what I started learning throughout the years, that vocal leader was actually Patterson.
Interesting.
He was the most vocal. Titus Howard talks. But, bro, let's be honest. He's still learning how to be a good left guard. He's not a damn left guard.
Yeah.
He never really had been in his career.
That's true.
That's that Bill O'Brien shit.
Yep. Well, look, gentlemen, I think this is a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for all your hard work this season. I want to thank you for taking time away from your families to come on and talk Texans ball with me and the folks at home watching. Thank you all for watching. I want you all to like, subscribe, and help us grow. We're going to take a little bit of a break, kind of recharge the batteries, spend time with the family. But we're going to be watching football-related stuff, Senior Bowl, etc. When we come back, about the time for the Combine, we will be armed to the teeth with information about free agency and who we want to get and drafting and all that other stuff.
Salary cap expectations. We're going to be ready for you guys.
You can expect videos from us when hirings, firings, etc. So like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do the same thing for That's Crazy Podcast and Talk. Do the same thing for Mass 3 Productions. But most importantly, be good people and go Texans.
Go Texans.